Have you ever hesitated to accept an amazing promotion because you felt you weren't ready? Or maybe you isolated yourself at work to avoid criticism, even though you knew it was hurting your career. It might seem like just insecurity or personality differences. But what if I told you that these reactions were programmed long before you ever stepped into a workplace? Today, you're going to discover how your attachment style, shaped in early childhood, influences your professional decisions, self-confidence, and performance. And more importantly, how you can rewrite that story to unlock your full potential. If you feel like something invisible is holding you back, if you find yourself stuck in patterns of fear, self-sabotage, or craving constant validation, stay with me until the end. What you're about to uncover could completely change the course of your career and your life. It all starts with something we rarely notice. Our professional decisions are not as rational as we think. Behind every choice to accept a challenge or turn down an opportunity, to ask for help or to go it alone, there's a deeper emotional coding at play. A map that was drawn during our earliest attachment experiences. When we were babies, our nervous systems recorded sensations of safety or abandonment, creating an unconscious internal guide. What feels safe, what feels risky, what might bring pain. Without realizing it, we carry that map into adulthood and right into the workplace. A compliment from a boss can trigger the same feeling of warmth as a hug from a caregiver. A piece of corrective feedback can awaken old fears of rejection or failure. It's like we're trying to cross a bridge from childhood to leadership. But many of us are walking across a bridge full of hidden cracks. That's why understanding your attachment style is such a game changer. Because once you recognize where your reactions are really coming from, you can stop running old programs and start making empowered choices. Let's start with anxious attachment. If you lean this way, you probably crave constant approval at work. You worry excessively about how others perceive you. You reread emails multiple times to make sure you didn't offend anyone. You may procrastinate on important tasks out of fear of failure, or push yourself into exhausting perfectionism to avoid criticism. Take Emily, a talented young professional at a Fortune 500 company. Every time she had an important meeting, she'd freeze. She became so obsessed with not making mistakes that she struggled to focus on her message. Positive feedback gave her temporary relief, but even the smallest critique would spiral her into self-doubt. Emily's struggle wasn't about lack of skill, it was an anxious attachment pattern screaming inside her. If you're not perfect, you'll be rejected. Now let's look at the flip side. Avoidant attachment. If this is your pattern, you probably value independence above all else. You hate relying on others, prefer working alone, struggle with delegation, and feel uncomfortable in emotional conversations or team collaborations. Underneath, there's a silent belief. Trusting others is dangerous. Meet Jason, a senior tech manager. Brilliant technically, but emotionally distant from his team. He wouldn't ask for help even when overwhelmed. He didn't share vulnerabilities. He carried the whole weight himself, convincing himself that it's just easier this way. But deep down, Jason's fierce independence was an emotional armor, blocking him from true partnership. In leadership roles, this pattern can seriously limit growth because no one builds great teams or projects completely alone. Maybe you recognize yourself in both extremes, sometimes leaping impulsively into projects, other times freezing up and backing away. That's the hallmark of disorganized attachment. Sarah, for example, dreamed of becoming an executive. Yet every time she was invited into bigger opportunities, overwhelming anxiety kicked in. She'd sabotage herself, showing up late, missing deadlines, doubting her capabilities. Then she'd fall into deep guilt. It was like she wanted success but also deeply feared what would happen if she wasn't good enough. This constant swing between drive and fear can wreak havoc on a career, and on personal well-being too. But here's the good news. Not all attachment programming is painful. Secure attachment serves as a strong foundation. Professionals with secure attachment find it easier to ask for help without feeling weak, to accept feedback without emotional collapse, to trust their abilities while acknowledging their limits. They know that mistakes are part of growth. They know how to build strong teams without losing their sense of self. Most importantly, they draw confidence from within, not just from external validation. And the best part, even if you didn't develop secure attachment early in life, you can build it now as an adult. So where do you start? First, identify your attachment patterns at work. Ask yourself, do I constantly seek approval from managers and coworkers to feel secure? Do I avoid asking for help even when I'm drowning? Do I get extremely anxious about feedback, or shut down emotionally to protect myself? These questions give you vital clues, because once you understand your pattern, you stop blaming yourself and start gaining control. Next, self-observation. In your day-to-day work life, notice what triggers anxiety, validation seeking, or withdrawal. Which moments make you retreat or overcompensate? The second step is naming your feelings. When you name a feeling, you take away its power. Instead of being swept away by emotion, you become its observer. The third step is emotional training. Challenging yourself slowly and safely to act differently. Ask for feedback even when it feels terrifying. Accept help even when your instinct says to push it away. Celebrate your successes internally, without needing external applause. And if you can, seek support. Therapy, coaching, mastermind groups. All of these can be powerful allies on your journey to emotional reprogramming. And remember, real healing doesn't happen through intensity. It happens through consistency. At first, building secure workplace relationships may feel boring compared to the emotional highs and lows you're used to. But what you're actually experiencing is emotional stability, something far more powerful. Take Julia, who spent years trapped in anxious work cycles. She finally started thriving when she realized she didn't need to prove her worth every second. She could trust herself, trust the process, and build a career rooted in security, not survival. Now I want to hear from you. Which attachment style resonated with you the most? Drop it in the comments below. Let's grow together. Your attachment patterns explain a lot, but they don't define who you are or what you're capable of. When you understand your wounds, you begin to heal your choices. And that changes everything. Because your true potential has been there all along, just waiting for you to break free from old fears. And today can be the first day of your new story.